as the title says, I am back on the iPhone. Seems I can't get away from it. How dare. Now, while I did enjoy the Fold 4, there are a few things I did not like, plus some things that iPhone just has that makes it a little bit better for me as an American. So unfortunately, the Fold was recording, so I don't have references to like what I'm going to be saying here in a second, but that's okay. The issue with... So I did like some things about the Fold, actually. We'll start with that. I do enjoy how the Fold 4 is one-handable very nicely. It's super skinny. You know, it's super skinny. So it allows for the reach over to the left side of the screen very easily. While it is tall, it being so skinny gives me more thumb room to reach up top. Android is not as bad as it used to be. I switched to iPhone around the iPhone 10. And I fell in love with iOS then, and I went to try to go back to Android, and I just couldn't get past the OS anymore. Luckily, Android OS now is so nice and customizable that it actually works. Now, of course, with the Fold, you can't talk about without talking about the big unfolding screen. Everyone loves it that has it, and it makes sense. But that is also the biggest downside of it, believe it or not. If you visit the Fold subreddit, it is full of people complaining that their screen broke. And I'm just not down for that. I don't want to risk that anymore. Now, granted, as people have said, you don't go there posting, oh, my Fold device is working perfectly. You go there and post because something broke. So it's an exaggerated amount, but you still makes you slightly fearful. Another thing I do not like about the Fold is still Android. Android OS mixed with One UI is non-uniform, and that's one of the biggest downfalls of it in general. As I said, that skinny screen's nice for one-handability. It also makes it just not as nice to use in general, though. It makes your front screen very hard to use. It's still better than Fold 3. The Fold 4s increased the width of the screen by a few pixels. I don't remember the exact amount, so I don't want to quote that. And one of the last things is app support. What do I mean by that? Well, if I bring up handy dandy iPhone, I can do this magical thing with Snapchat. You know, as an American millennial, it's kind of my big thing. That's huge. Unfortunately, Android and a lot of American apps don't play well together, as I have heard flight companies give up working on Android phones sometimes. Not the ticketing service, but like some of their supplementary applications. And one of the last things to talk about on this is that the camera is not that great. I don't have any pictures I took side by side with the iPhone, so I cannot show you an example of it being worse. But then we're back to the boy. The beautiful purple boy. Now, I asked, well, why you want to go back? What's the big difference? What's the whole thing? And for starters, the most vain reason, look at this purple. Look at this purple. Amazing. The case I have shows off the purple as it's rimless and frosted. You can see the amazing purple. And in the same place as camera, the camera is a lot better. I will inject a picture here if I can. I'm not sure. I'm not that good at editing yet. One thing is all the apps are uniform. They all have a general philosophy of how they work. They're all shaped and you have to follow Android or iOS's kit for universal or a uniform experience. How about that? And that just helps a lot. It makes it feel more put together than Android. It feels like Android is just kind of slapped together, especially with One UI. I feel like Pixel. I've never used one, unfortunately, but I feel like Pixel has a more uniform experience as well because it's all, all the Google apps are gonna be the same. Versus on One UI, some apps are like One UI looking, and some apps are base Google or base Android looking, so it fights each other. As an American, it's kind of a huge thing. Being iMessage is big in the American market for whatever reason. Be it the green bubbles, the blue bubbles. That's not here nor there. Personally, for me, it's using Apple Cash and sending payments to other family members. That help? That does not help. Oh god. Sending payments to family members for whatever reason, share Netflix, phone account, whatever. It makes it a lot easier because there's no fee for transferring money. With Apple Cash, you send it to each other, and there's no fee for sending money, for taking money out of your account, or anything. There's a fee for an instant transfer, but that's here nor there. Everything has that, just because it probably does cost money on the server side. As I've said, app integration. It being like Snapchat as dark mode. Instagram works correctly on iPhone, unlike it works correctly on Android too, but not in tablet form. It tends to overstretch or just have borders. And then there's MagSafe, which is a weird one to talk about. Kind of a weird point. Why would you care more about MagSafe? Well, let me tell you, being able to just do this at the end of the night, just have it attached, it's so nice. Being able to just magnet stuff like that's nice. Hopefully Apple keeps a USB-C or goes to USB-C and this doesn't just get rid of the port in general. There's also the wonderful thing of ecosystem stuff. AirPods are very nice with them. Being able to choose a lot of things, update them with the new update that Apple put with selective audio cancellation with the new iOS update. I do like the lock screen stuff too. I'm pretty sure Android can do that. I didn't look that hard. And the dynamic island, as dumb as it is to do that, but to be able to do that, it's quite nice. Obviously, you can just swipe on Android. You can just swipe down, and it'll be right there just to change it. It saves a swipe. It's not really all that useful, but being able to quickly go back into the app is what's cool. Now, I should note, it is knowledge of all those loving games with this phone. It may feel faster slightly, but that's just because iOS, I think, is a more fluid experience. Now, there's no RCS, so iMessage is only Wi-Fi texting to other iPhones. We all know this. Android's been pushing for RCS on iPhone, and iPhone's like, here's more stickers this year, instead of talking about it. And I don't think they ever will. iMessage keeps a barrier to keep people in this and keep buying iPhones for their family members. Because using having my family be on two different OSs, obviously, because most people are on Android and 4 of us are on iPhone. We can't do a nice iMessage chat. I'd much rather an iMessage chat, but we have to use Telegram, which that's an American thing. That is, we Americans are the ones who are all uppity about that. So that point's null and void. From that point, I don't like to complain about that thing because it's just us, and we shouldn't care to the whole world because of that reason. The Lightning port, god dang it, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it, please. please go USB-C. It charges faster, has faster data transfer. When I start using this phone for this channel, I'm going to hate the transfer feed doing 4K 60. The lack of Touch ID. Now there is Face ID, yes, and it's fast. You know, do this, boom, it's already unlocked. But with this phone, all I have to do is press and hold the power button, and it will unlock and open up. I don't even have to actually fully press the power button. I can just put my finger on it real quick, and it will open up the phone and unlock it. I want to say this though, as a general tech person, I want to try out more of these phones. I want to try out the Pixel Fold. I want to try out the Fold 5. I want to try out the Vivos and all that fun stuff. As an American in the Midwest, I really don't get that option for a lot of like the Chinese companies, because a lot of the bands just don't make it here. I know T-Mobile works well with those, and maybe I'll switch to T-Mobile if I get this, you know, going further, this channel further. I should note, both these phones are very fast. You know, when they came out, they're top-of-the-line processors for each respective platform. The Fold 4 is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and then this at whatever chip it is, I don't remember, because they're all the same, really. I mean, they're just different nanometer processes and such. I should note one thing, is weirdly enough, this phone feels lighter than this phone does, but this is 60 grams heavier. That's a significant amount. People complain about this phone, this is the normal Pro versus the Pro Max, which is, 40 grams heavier? Something along those lines. People complain about this. When going from this down to this, it felt relatively the same, and then when I picked this one back up, now it feels lighter. Maybe it's because it's all consolidated, because it's, you know, two phones folding on top of each other. I don't really know. I think that's all I have today. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I really hope I can get this channel starting, and maybe I can look for pointers and tips on how to make everything better. But for now, if you watch this, I thank you for your time, and have a good day.